Hi, my name is Rachel Griesaber. If you guys don't know me, I am an executive sales leader and I have been with Norwex since July of 2015. So a little over, it's about 2.5 years, and it has been a wonderful ride. We are actually traveling home from Leadership Conference in Dallas, and so Trina is my camera woman behind me, and we are so excited to be able to do this Facebook training right after Leadership Conference. It was such an exciting weekend with other consultants, and we got such excellent training. It was motivational to hear other people's stories, and of course, with it being in January, we are all about setting our yearly goals. So if you are not someone who has set goals before, I really challenge you to take this up in 2018, because it really will make a difference, not just in your Norwex business, but also in your entire life. So today we're going to be looking at just a really quick and dirty look at how to set goals. Honestly though, most of what I talk about is the results from this training is all on you, because you have to set your own goals from this. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this quote. It's by the author of The Little Prince, and it says, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So if you are wishing that your life was different, why don't we go ahead and set some goals and get it into place and take it from a wish and into reality. So the first thing that you need to do when you are setting goals is to figure out your why. Now we're going to be talking more specifically about your Norwex why, but this can be applied to your entire life as well. And I really do suggest that you do this for your entire life, not just your Norwex life, because we know that areas of our life can't be completely compartmentalized. They bleed over into other areas. So you want to make sure that Norwex is also fitting in to your overall life goals, and so with our family and other areas. So starting out with your why for Norwex is really digging deep into your heart. Why do you want to do this? The reason it's important to figure out your why is because this is going to be what you lean on heavily when times get tough. Because we know that life is not easy, and life is not going to stay easy if it is right now for you. And so what gets you through those hard times, those times where you don't have a good recruit, you don't have any parties booked, you maybe had a bad experience with a hostess, the things that get you through those tough times in your business are going to be leaning heavily on your why. So my why, and this is always changing, so pretty much like every year you need to reevaluate your why, maybe even more often. My why right now in January of 2018 is it has a few parts. So one of those parts is I want to make a significant amount of money for our family budget. Our budget is relying more and more heavily on my income, not just my husband's, and so I want to contribute significantly to that. The other thing that I want to do is I want to help other women like myself to be able to find their strengths and be able to develop them. That means that if they want to go up the Norwex career plan, awesome, I want to help them. But if that also just means using Norwex as a means to help them grow and find out how to use their strengths and to apply those maybe after, whatever their time for Norwex is, they use them somewhere else, awesome. I just want to be a part of that. That is something that leadership has meant so much to me, is being able to meet so many different women and help them see their strengths and develop them and use them. And then my third is just wanting to be a good role model to my children. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter and a 10-month-old son, and I want to model what hard work and perseverance do over a long time. I don't want to be someone who just starts and stops things. I want to show them what hard work and dedication brings over time and persevering. And Norwex gives me the perfect opportunity to do that. So that's my why. What is yours? What do you care about? What is most important in your life? Take some time. I suggest going to maybe it's really cold here where most of us are, but because it's January. But if you can be outside, maybe on a warmer day, I think being outside, outdoors, is a fabulous place to really contemplate what your why is. Other places that are good are in a really hot shower. So taking time where you're by yourself, where you can relax and really have the time where you're not going to be interrupted to really think through what is most important to you. Okay, so I've spent a lot of time on your why, because that is the most important part of setting goals, is figuring out why you want to do all these things in the coming year. Because if you don't know why you want to do them, it does not really matter if you have any goals for the year, because you're not going to stick with them. So again, focus on your why. Okay, step 2, dream big. for 2018, okay? Don't feel like dreaming means that you have signed your name to it, and if you fail, you're a failure. You're not a failure if you fail. You just failed and you keep going. And so dream big, dream out of the box. Don't feel like you have to stay within the limits of what you've already done or what you've seen in your immediate family, what they have been able to do. What do you want out of life? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your family's life to look like? Dream big and don't feel like anything is too big, because anybody who has achieved something great started small. It starts with the first step. But if you don't dream big, you're never ever going to get there, because you don't even know where you're going. And so dream big and don't let that scare you. Okay, so step 3 is just putting out some plans to get there. So it's what is going to be your first step? What's going to be your second step? So take those, kind of break it down. So dream big and then kind of back through all of that, and what's your first step to getting there? Let's say if we're looking at our Norwex business, an example of that is I want to have 10 parties a month, and currently you on a consistent basis maybe have 1 or 2. Well, why don't you start in the first quarter of the year? Let's try to get 4 parties on the calendar consistently every single month. Okay, so that's your goal. Take a couple steps back. What do you need to do to get those parties? One is listen to some training, right? Listen to some training. Next is going to be actually asking and calling and making some calls to get those bookings. So again, just making it bite-sized pieces. Like take your big goal, your big dream, and then making it a smaller bite-sized pieces so you can take one bite. Success, you did it. Okay, you listen to that training. Next step, make some calls. Okay, you made those calls, you got a booking. Next step, do some hostess coaching, keep those parties. So like I said, just really break it down so that you don't have to feel like it's this big thing you have to do all at once. It's all little steps that lead up to it. So one thing that I would also suggest doing is taking some blank note cards, and when you are kind of looking through some goals that you have for your life and for your Norwex business, divide those up. So on a note card, we did this, by the way, Leah Sweetman, thank you for doing this training. When I first started, we did this, and I loved it. I think of this all the time. Think of the categories of your life. You have your home life, maybe that breaks down to like your kids and your spouse. And what are some goals that you want to do with them? Maybe you want to spend some more time with your husband and get a quality date night on the calendar once a month. With your kids, maybe it's be at more of their practices or more of their events that they do. Maybe it's just being able to have some chill time at home with all of them. Just break it down into that, and then also look at your Norwex, but break Norwex down into maybe a book, sell, recruit categories. I don't know, maybe that would be good. But just taking those note cards and trying to divide up categories of your life is a good visual for you. I'm a very visual person, and so that might help you as well. So write the goals, maybe do it for the next 6 months, maybe do it for the whole year, whatever you feel good about. I think is a good way to start. Okay, so also when you are dreaming, I love this quote. I don't know if you've heard this before, but it says, if your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. So think about that when you're setting your goals and you're dreaming big. If you're not a little bit uncomfortable with what you're planning, they're not big enough. Those aren't dreams. You need stretch goals. You need things that make you feel uncomfortable. That's how we grow. And so if you want to grow in 2018, make sure that you're dreaming big to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but the payoff will just be so rewarding when you get there. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this training. I am so excited to see what 2018 brings for our whole team and these individual lives that you all have and are able to I love that we can come together from so many different backgrounds with Norwex and be able to share in this blessing. So Trina's going to have a takeaway, so I'm trying to keep myself back from talking too much about this, but she's going to have a call to action from this, and I can't wait to see what comes of it. Thanks, guys.